A situation where someone tries to manipulate you. Maybe it's a politician, a business rival, or even a close friend. They pull the strings, play their cards, and subtly guide your decisions to suit their own agenda. It's frustrating, isn't it? But what if, in that very moment, you were able to outwit them, turning their manipulation back on them? Suddenly, it feels like more than just victory. There's a deeper sense of satisfaction, a sense of triumph over someone who thought they had the upper hand. This is what Machiavelli captured in his famous quote, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." In these few words, Machiavelli not only speaks to the strategic game of power, but also to the profound psychological pleasure that comes from outsmarting someone who believed they could manipulate you. But Machiavelli's quote is more than just about personal satisfaction. It delves into the complexities of power, deceit, and human nature that play out in politics, personal relationships, and even day-to-day life. In this video, we'll unpack what Machiavelli meant by this quote and explore its deeper implications. From the moral implications of deceit in political theory to the emotional and psychological satisfaction of turning the tables, we'll explore how this quote resonates not only in Machiavellian political theory, but in the way power dynamics unfold in our own lives. Before we dive deeper into Machiavelli's world of political strategy and human manipulation, welcome to the unfolding journey. This is the channel where we explore the intricate philosophies that have shaped human thought, from political power plays to existential crises. If you're passionate about discovering profound insights into human behavior, power dynamics, and the philosophies that underlie them, you're in the right place. Now, let's take a closer look at what Machiavelli really meant with this quote. Is it just about outsmarting someone, or does it reveal a deeper truth about how power works in both politics and personal life? Niccolò Machiavelli was an Italian Renaissance philosopher, politician, and military theorist, best known for his book The Prince. Written in 1513 and published posthumously, The Prince is one of the most influential works on political theory. Machiavelli's views are often categorized as Machiavellian, a term that has come to symbolize cunning, deceit, and manipulation used to achieve power. But the reality is more nuanced than that. In his writings, Machiavelli wasn't advocating for ruthlessness and deception for the sake of malice. Instead, he was focusing on the pragmatic realities of governance and survival. He argued that rulers must do whatever it takes to maintain power, even if that means using deceit, manipulation, or manipulation of their own people. Power, for Machiavelli, is fragile. It requires constant vigilance, and sometimes deceit is the most effective tool to preserve it. When Machiavelli says, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver," he's acknowledging a deep, fundamental truth about power dynamics. When you are the victim of deception, it's a loss of agency, a sense of being controlled. But the moment you reverse that manipulation, when you outsmart the one who tried to control you, that act gives not just satisfaction, but a deeper sense of liberation and empowerment. It's a validation of your own intelligence and resilience. In the world of politics, deception is often a tool used by leaders to maintain control over the populace, outwit their rivals, or shape public perception. Leaders frequently employ misinformation, create false narratives, and play political games in order to secure their power. Machiavelli, who lived during the turbulent political climate of Renaissance Italy, was acutely aware of this reality. In The Prince, Machiavelli discusses how rulers can manipulate the image of themselves to maintain power. A prince, he argues, must learn how to be both lion and fox. The lion represents strength and courage, while the fox symbolizes cunning and deception. A ruler who can balance these two qualities will be able to navigate the complexities of politics with greater success. This strategic use of deception, however, is not without consequences. While Machiavelli advocates for deception as a tool of power, he also warns about the danger of being deceived. A ruler who is constantly deceived by others risks losing their authority and position. This leads us to the core of the Machiavellian pleasure of deceiving the deceiver. When a ruler is outsmarted by another manipulator, it's a loss of control, and they become the victim of someone else's strategy. The ability to turn the tables and outwit the manipulator, however, creates a sense of mastery over the game of power. It's a recognition that one can manipulate the manipulator, a moment of intellectual triumph, which Machiavelli describes as a double pleasure: deception and the human psyche. Machiavelli's philosophy isn't just about politics. It also delves into human psychology. In everyday life, people often deceive or manipulate others for personal gain. whether in relationships, business, or even social situations. Deception, as Machiavelli suggests, is a pervasive force in human interactions. But what makes it particularly intriguing is the psychological satisfaction one derives from outsmarting a manipulator. The double pleasure that Machiavelli refers to comes from the psychological thrill of not only reclaiming agency, but also doing so by outwitting someone who thought they had the upper hand. There's an almost primal satisfaction that arises when we can turn the tables and regain control of a situation. In personal relationships, for example, many people find themselves dealing with individuals who are manipulative or deceitful. Whether it's a friend, family member, or romantic partner, being on the receiving end of manipulation can be emotionally draining. But when we outsmart the manipulator, when we see through their lies and trickery, it gives us a sense of empowerment. It's a recognition of our ability to maintain control over our own lives, even when others try to interfere. Psychologically, this moment of triumph is magnified because it also affirms our intelligence and resilience. Deception, after all, requires both perception and wit. By catching the manipulator in their own game, we reinforce our sense of self-worth and agency. The double pleasure of deceiving the deceiver is not just a political tactic. It is a human experience that transcends the world of governance. Whether we're dealing with political leaders, business rivals, or even personal relationships, the dynamics of power and manipulation are at play. Machiavelli's quote encapsulates a universal truth about how we relate to power, control, and deception. In a world where deceit is often used to maintain or attain power, being able to turn the tables is not just a victory, it's a reaffirmation of our own agency. It's an intellectual and emotional victory that brings a sense of justice, where we claim back control from someone who sought to control us. It's a reclaiming of our autonomy, a reaffirmation of our ability to see through falsehoods and deception and to wield our own power in response. Machiavelli's pragmatic approach to deception raises an important ethical question. Is deception ever truly justifiable? While Machiavelli argues that deception is an essential tool for a ruler to maintain power, this raises moral concerns. Is it morally acceptable to deceive others, even if it's for the sake of preserving one's position or achieving a noble end? The answer to this question depends on one's ethical standpoint. For Machiavelli, the ends justify the means. If deception helps achieve a greater political good, then it is justified. However, from a more traditional moral perspective, deception might be seen as inherently wrong, regardless of the end result. This tension between moral righteousness and political necessity is one of the reasons Machiavelli's work has been so widely debated. Some argue that his approach is cold and calculating, while others appreciate his candid and realistic view of human nature. Either way, Machiavelli's insights into power, deception, and human behavior remain relevant today. Machiavelli's assertion that it is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver speaks to the deeper satisfaction we derive from outsmarting those who try to manipulate us. Whether in politics, personal relationships, or social interactions, the pleasure of turning the tables on a manipulator is both intellectual and emotional. It reaffirms our agency, our ability to see through deception, and our capacity to regain control. While Machiavelli's philosophy can be seen as a call for strategic manipulation in the pursuit of power, it also touches on the fundamental human desire for control and autonomy. The double pleasure he describes as a reminder that, in the game of power, those who understand the rules, those who can outwit the deceivers, are the ones who ultimately triumph. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into Machiavelli's philosophy and his view on power, deception, and human nature, make sure to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. We explore some of the most fascinating ideas in philosophy, politics, and human behavior. By subscribing, you'll join a community of thinkers eager to explore the complexities of life, power, and morality. So, what do you think? Do you agree with Machiavelli's view that it's a double pleasure to deceive the deceiver? Or do you believe that deceit should never be justified, no matter the situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of The Unfolding Journey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.